Zoom. This meet in dim system dialog. Got it. Default Safari.
Hello. If you're already joining me or seeing this, I am waiting for my computer to let me know that it's live and to make sure my sound is okay. Sometimes I have an overlap of sound. And I do. Hold on one second. Hello. If you're already joining me or seeing this, I am waiting for my computer to let me know. You can probably hear.
Complimentary YouTube video player group.
Okay. All right. I decided this week to do things a little differently. Was kind of burning out on doing individual sun signs, and the energy that I'm feeling is very collective. And so I thought I would do things a little different. So if you're new to me, hi, I'm Sarah from Divinely You. You are divinely unique because of who you are. And so I figured I would celebrate that. So this week we have a lot of little, I wouldn't even say they're little because it's a lot of big energy, and I have definitely been feeling it. I've been very exhausted, very tired, very much wanting to stay in bed. And we have a major transit coming up at the end of this week, not to mention a new moon because we are in Leo season. So there's a lot of, I want to say upsetting, but it doesn't have to be upsetting. It's just going to be like potentially abrupt changes because of where the energy is and the planets that are involved. But even leading up to that transit, which I think hits on July 31st. So, for the last couple of years, we've had a lot of, when I first started studying astrology, it was like, oh, we have a full moon this week. Next week, oh, so we have this thing happening. Next week, and a couple weeks go by. Oh, now we have the new moon. When I really started to get into astrology in 2020 was when we started having not only like a new moon or a full moon, but then we'd also have these other major transits along with it, which just really made me want to study it even more because just to understand what was going on with all of it. And so now that I'm definitely getting a better grasp of it, and we're having multiple once in a lifetime transits, not to mention a lot of other active, like the solar activity and things like that are contributing to all of this energy. It's been a lot overwhelming. And honestly, I'm beyond mental exhaustion at this point. I think just processing everything that I've processed over the last couple of years and, relocated a couple of times in the last couple of years. But I'm fully relocated back to the Midwest now. I'm back in Illinois. And so maybe you're experiencing, like, what are you experiencing? Like, think about what's been going on in your life over the last couple of years. And I would like to say that it's kind of culminating to this weekend's transit, but I don't think it is. I think we're just beginning. Like, this is like not only this decade, the 2020s, but beyond, because we're in this big of an energy shift on our planet and with our humanity. And so give yourself grace, give yourself some space, give yourself some compassion, because that will allow you to give grace, space, and compassion to those around you who are also experiencing this massive energy shift in their own life, right? Like, I have literally stopped taking people's irritations like personal because they're experiencing their own level of what's going on. So this weekend we have this, I'm going to explain it. You don't have to understand it, but you could be feeling it, or you could be like, fuck, this world is never going to stop. This is never going to stop. And it's only going to get worse. And in some ways it will get worse, but in so many ways it's actually like creating something new, which I'm all for, like the revolution or whatever. Like, I don't know, I never felt like I fit into normal, whatever was normal. So we have the planet Uranus, which is a little unique disruptor motherfucker, gonna be meeting with the North Node. And what I know about the nodes is the North Node sort of points to the future, and we have a South Node that typically points to the past. So it's Uranus, the disruptor, meeting with the North Node, looking at the future, and Mars, which is a lot of masculine energy, a lot of potentially war or conflict energy. It's an action type energy. And so all these three, North Node's not a planet, but I'm going to call it a planet for sake of conversation. All these three are going to be meeting in the sign of Taurus, which is Earth. Okay. So that to me says that there's going to be earthly changes, like geographic changes or geologic, I guess, changes. I have my own like suspicions, predictions as to what Uranus and Taurus could mean, like deserts flooding and things like that we like never suspect. And Uranus does that, right? It's it's ruled by Aquarius, and Aquarius, or I guess Uranus rules Aquarius. And so it does a lot of goofy shit that may look really weird, and it may look like, oh my God, we're not going to be okay. The thing is that if we there's like this scarcity versus abundance. I happen to be a very abundant thinker in that I really feel like all of this is happening for the greater good of humanity and each of us individually. So I tend to think about everything in that lens, through that lens. So, things are being brought to light. We're seeing things. And so these three planets, entities, whatever, meeting in a fixed Earth sign, it's going to upside down things. Y'all thought 2020, I kept saying that. I've been saying this, like 2020 was nothing. That was just a preamble. That was just the preview, so I'll say, for what's coming. Because, and for me, this is like exciting because it's disruptive. It's changing. And in order to change and evolve and grow, not only individually, but collectively, this kind of shit has to happen. So trust that God's got you, universe has got you, it's going to be okay, but we do have to go through a lot of upset and upheaval in order to get to that next revolution. So this is what I did today. I pulled 4 cards, one for each element, and so we have fire, earth, air, water. So the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And then the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, and water is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So I can think that, but when I say it out loud, it's like anyway. So I didn't look at the cards, I just pulled them. So we're going to pull them right now and see what's going on for each element this week. I just wanted to do something different. Like I said, I was kind of burning out on the individual sun signs. And then I also have, this will be fun. I have the Talking to the Trees inspiration card deck. So I'll pull a card from that deck for each element as well, just for funsies. And to be fair, this is a deck that I feel really uncomfortable pulling on camera because I really have a hard time reading the deck, but I love the deck and I love the messages. So we're gonna go with that. So give that deck a shuffle before I get into this. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for everything that you're doing to support me. I know a lot of you find me through my reels on Instagram and on Facebook. And so let's do this. Actually, I don't know why I'm so nervous to do this. Maybe it's just because I'm doing it live and I don't really know if anybody's watching. All right, so let's start with the fire signs. So Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So if you're in Aries, you have Jupiter currently in your sign, Chiron, And Leo, we have obviously just moved the sun into Leo, and Mercury. So lots of activity going on in Leo right now. And so Sagittarius, you're kind of just sitting over there holding down the fort, I would say. Maybe. So for the fire signs, we have, oh my gosh, a word that I don't know how to say. Iphigenia. I'm going to go with that. The sacrifice. Oh, wow. So this is really interesting. So sacrifice, sometimes, here we go. We do have to make sacrifices to move forward. We do have to give up things to move forward. Since I'm using the Talking to the Trees by Abigail Gazda card deck, Abigail Gazda, you can follow her Instagale on Instagram. She's been talking about like her sobriety journey a lot lately, and like maybe it's, you know, and I'm not suggesting you go sober, that's just what she's been talking about. But sometimes we do have to make sacrifices, and sacrifice substances or sacrifice relationships, like let them go to get to the next thing. Or maybe we need to let go of like material possessions, or letting go. Like I just moved away from Arizona. Like I loved Arizona, but it was no longer working. And moving back to the Midwest, I'm like, this, like in so many ways, it sucks because it's hot and humid here. I don't do hot humidity. I like heat, but I like dry heat. But like I had to make that sacrifice because it's part of my mission, right? Sometimes we have to surrender, make the sacrifice to move forward in our own soul's mission, right? Release the human ego, or the human that wants to hold on to the thing and force it to work. But we have to really be attentive and cued in to what's the actual soul mission, and where does that need us to go to get to the next thing. And I know a lot of humans really struggle with that. Like you find your happy place and you want it to stay the happy place, but it's no longer the happy place. And so there's always those sacrifices. Or maybe you enjoy a drink every day or a smoke every day or whatever it is, but sometimes you got to make the sacrifices to get to the next level where your soul needs to learn new lessons to move forward. And so I feel like that's a lot of what this upcoming conjunction of Uranus and Mars is really going to show us, is like where our soul needs us to go. So there could be a lot of people changing their lives and where they're going and what they're up to in the next, stretch of time. So let's see if I can read this Talking to the Trees deck. I really love this deck. I just find it super challenging to read the cards because the printing is, but that's okay. I find it challenging to read a lot of cards that I read. So we have I can't see that everything is working out for me. I thought there would be more. I guess not. I can't see that everything is working out for me. So you can't see, like, I'll go back to my own example, right? Like, I don't know. I don't see. My human does not see. My human ego. Oof, I don't think my lighting is very good for these cards. We don't see what the future holds, right? What was the saying? Like you got to take a step forward even if you can't see the staircase. And so when we make these sacrifices, when we make choices based on our soul's mission, we don't see ahead of ourselves, right? We're living so in the present that we just don't see it, and we have to go anyway, right? That's like the whole thing about fear, is like proceeding with fear, even though there's fear, but proceeding forward anyway, because we can't see what God already knows ahead of us. And so sometimes we got to take the leap of faith and go with it. So that's what I got for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Let's move on to Earth. Earth is going to be Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So let's see what we got for them. I don't know what I did with the other Post-it note. I'm winging it today. I don't know. It just feels like it. Thanks for playing along. I appreciate you. All right, so for the earthy people, we have Echo. Oh, I've talked about Echo before. I think those were the videos that got thrown out, actually. Unrequited love. Unrequited love. This is the love that does not reciprocate. This is love that like Echo was silenced. She lost her voice because she, like, a spell was cast on her and she lost her voice. And then she met a man who, like, could not see past, like, he could not love her in return. Like, she fell madly in love with him, but he couldn't return it because he was so preoccupied with himself. And so, but she, I mean, and he died and she basically kept pining after him, but she lost herself because of this, the love that was reciprocated. And so, this could be a good thing about relationships. Like, if people or possessions or maybe a job is not giving you back what you're putting into it, that is a sign, like, to maybe make a shift. It's time to make a shift. It's time to go in a different direction. I used to work a job, it's funny because I was just thinking about posting this on my social media, but I used to work a job where I put so much into it and basically did not feel like I was getting the returns. And I eventually quit because I'm like, I am not going to work somewhere and put all of this energy into it that makes me feel like shit at the end of the day. And so I would really invite you, like, what are you getting in return from your career, your job, your relationships? Do you walk away from them feeling fulfilled, or are you just like a, I want to say a ghost, but like, are you just a spirit that's there, right? Like, it's not giving you back anything in return. That's how I felt in my job. I really felt like, I'm probably going to write that post now. I feel like that just kind of validated that post needs to be written. But we so often get into relationships, whatever it is, where we lose ourselves and forget who we are and forget our mission and forget our voice, and get really into whatever that job is or that thing is and lose ourselves to it. And so that's a good reminder to not lose yourself, not lose your voice to the thing. Okay, so let me read through it first so that I have something to say about it. There's nothing to do but be. There's no one to be but me. Yeah. So this is perfect in alignment with not losing yourself. You don't have to try. You just be yourself and allow yourself to be loved and have that love given to you by people who accept you for who you are. I'm sorry if my lighting really sucks for these cards. I don't feel like they're showing up. Maybe they're showing up for you. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if they're actually showing up. But there's no, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to be anything. You just be yourself and let people love you in return for showing up and being who you are. All right. Air, Gemini, Libra. Yeah, I had Scorpio going, and that's water. But anyway, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. My favorite, Aquarius. All right, for the air signs, we have Alcestis. This is devotion. Devoting yourself to yourself, devoting yourself to the things that are in your soul's alignment. Like, I'm devoted to being here. Like, this is where God has me right now. I'm accepting it. Not always happy about it, but that's okay. But accepting it and devoting myself to the role that I've been given to play in my family, in this town, in this area, devoting yourself to the career change, to the relocation, devoting yourself to the relationship, devoting yourself to your significant other. Devotion, that's a really good one. I feel like, because that can be just such a good reminder to be where you are, like thrive where you're planted. Be devoted and show your devotion to the things that are in place for you in this moment and time. So from the Talking to the Trees deck, we have it is safe and allowed to have feelings, needs, wants, and desires. Yeah. And this is something that I know as an Aquarius, I struggle with, like having feelings or or having needs or having desires, not only as an Aquarius, but just in the life that I lead. And to sometimes people think that I'm not allowed to have these things because of the life I choose to lead. And that's not true. I'm allowed to have feelings. I'm allowed to have needs. I'm allowed to have desires. And so are you. You're allowed to be those things, to have those things, and it's completely okay. So be okay with who you are, be devoted to who you are, and make your voice heard when you do have needs or desires, when you do have things that you want to happen. Like you're okay. It's safe to have those needs. I have some friends that I joke around with a lot, and then sometimes I get really insecure and emotional, and I'm like, I can't joke today. Like it's just not gonna work. I'm gonna feel like shit if I joke today. But expressing that and being okay to say to my friends that I got this going on today and I can't handle it today. All right, water. Capricorn, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And so let's see what we got for water this week. Totally butchering all of the signs, even though I know what they are. We got Artemis for Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. This is the nature card. Yeah, getting connected with nature, being out in nature, being outside, checking in with God's nature, the galaxy, the planets, the stars, the sun, checking into all of those. Like nature is not just limited to Earth nature, but unlimited in the universe. And the universe is God's natural creation. And so getting in tune with all of that and grounding yourself with all of that. Water signs tend to be very emotional, very dreamy, and can really get up in the clouds and really ground yourself into the dirt, the grass, the trees, all of those things. And so let's do one last pull for the water signs. This was kind of fun, I think. Did you guys enjoy this? Let me know in the comments. You can share this video if you love it. And let me know what you think of this particular way of presenting. I am open to receiving the healing and guidance of Mother Nature. How funny is that? This is really water signs. This is seriously an invitation to get outside, get in tune with Mother Nature, with the flowers, the nature of your human body, the nature of the planets, the nature of the stars, of the sun. Really, this is all about connecting with nature. This is all about an earthly experience for you. So I hope that was helpful. All right, guys. That's it for me this week. I will probably try and go live sometime later this week because I just feel like there's a lot of energy that really needs to be brought to the surface and all that. And I just thought I would do this a little different this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, and of course we have that new moon coming up, so I'll do a live for that. And like I said, I don't know. I'm kind of going with whatever feels. It just didn't feel aligned to do individual sun signs this week. It feels like what I am hearing is collective because we're all going through so much this week. There's a lot of energy, a lot of light being flooded into the planet. And so And we've been in such a scarcity dark mode for so long that having light flooded at us can really take us out, can really exhaust us. And so that's okay. It's like I said, give yourself the grace, the space, and the compassion, and then, you know, allow others the grace and the space and the compassion. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments. Yeah, I will see you on the next energy and wisdom share. Have a great